Welcome, everybody, to the Awaken Sober Podcast. It's a podcast about life and recovery through Christ. I want to take a moment right here and say what's up to our sponsor, Tactile Turn, still sponsoring us, still backing us.
Hey, Tactile Turn.
Here they are.
Oh, yeah, there's that.
I got that Zerk.
I got the knife.
I got that Zerk.
I'll stab you and take your Zerk.
I don't know. It's a pretty good fist packer. It's just got some weight to it.
Yeah, you could knock somebody out with that.
Just thump them upside the head. Think.
I can tell you, I thought when Derek started, though, he was going to say, let's take a moment of silence.
Yeah.
Yes, a moment of silence for the one missing.
Yes.
Once again this week, our pal Germ is not here. Big Perm, nothing but love for you, buddy. We miss you.
Big Perm.
What
We
did
had
he
to get him
say?
on a phone call, man.
We do. I think, what did he say? He'd be back in August? July?
But he said he was going to be able to stop by every once in a while, or we could do the
phone call thing.
phone call.
Yeah.
Riverside, man.
You were talking about it yesterday, man. I'm looking forward to it. You said the
Riverside
shorts and
stepping up.
everything? Yeah.
Yeah, I sent you guys all those, the different shorts. It made 5 automatically. Like, it just scanned through the stuff and did it.
Nice.
I was like, hey,
Oh, it actually does it for you.
Riverside. Yeah.
That's cool.
I didn't have to do anything. I was like, dang.
That'll work.
I was happy.
Yeah. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We are on all podcast platforms. You can find us at Awake and Sober.
.org.
Yes.
If you want to just find us online.
Yeah.
But yes, on any of them, the Awake and Sober podcast.
And social media. If you have social media, you see us, share us on there. Share us with your friends. Let your friends watch us.
Yeah, let your friends watch us.
Let your friends watch us. It's okay.
Let your friends see what you see.
Don't be stingy with our program and let everybody watch it. It's okay.
Let your friends see what we see. Derek.
What's up, man?
Mr. Chuckles today.
I'm always
I like
chuckling,
it.
man. I'm always
I like
in a
it.
good.
I heard him bust out laughing today, and I was like, oh, there it is.
I almost literally was on the floor,
he
rolling on the floor laughing because it was something.
Shout out to our friend Colby.
Yeah.
He's a hardcore man. I had to.
Same Kobe I know?
Same Colby.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
Right
going
on, Kobe.
He's going to hardcore man training.
So he can come back and teach us.
So he can come back and teach us.
It was funny, too. He had to be there.
Have you ever heard of an oxymoron?
I've heard of irony.
Kobe is a tough guy.
Man, oh man.
Love you,
A
Cole.
hardcore man.
Love you, buddy.
So, Derek, how are you doing then?
I'm good, brother.
Mr. Giggles.
Yeah. A little upset with myself. I'm not gonna lie. I think I could have did a better job yesterday up there on stage. But I think I'm really upset because I didn't prepare myself well enough. But at the same time, I think I did a decent job, and I'm really happy that it felt good to actually be up there doing what God's called me to do. So on that part, doing all right.
And I was too busy building something for the end of your thing because I wasn't in there then.
Yeah, that was my favorite part. Because I shot from the hip on that one. And I think it really made a point. Yeah.
At the end?
It was one because the Hebrews 11:6 was actually in it, but it was the NIV version. I'm like, when I first heard it, this is how I heard it, where it says faith is the substance of things hoped for, not yet seen. And so it went really well, and I shared how, here we are, substance users up in here. Faith is as real as that stuff we were using.
Amen.
Yeah, and I heard that you did a really good job.
I did, but I could have did better. No, thank you, though. I mean, I appreciate that.
But
I had Miss Becky out in the crowd, and she lets herself be known. Miss Becky, if you ever watch this podcast, I got nothing but love for you. You're a prayer warrior. I love every bit about you because, woman, you can pray.
Yeah.
But I'm up there teaching, and you can hear out there, amen. Oh, you got to tell them. I was waiting. That's what I was waiting to hear. Tell them, Pastor. They can't hear you.
Yeah. Becky, man, I tell you what, it's going to be hard to replace her to let somebody else just go up there and pray.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, there ain't nobody on top of that one.
Yeah, she gets you fired up.
Yes, she does.
Like, woo.
Yeah, she does.
Miss Becky.
So it's pretty nice. Preparation.
Oh, yeah.
Be prepared.
Yes. More preparation, definitely.
Proper preparation prevents piss poor performance.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
That's what Jen says all the time. Proper preparation prevents piss poor performance.
And it's 100% true.
It is true.
I mean, that the more that you rehearse it, practice it, the more that you know it, and the more confident you are.
Yeah.
And it makes it better for the audience, too.
Definitely my next one's going to be good.
I'll be there.
We'll see.
Yeah, I figured he was going to be there last night, but I
know, right?
I think he stubbed his toe or something.
No,
What happened to you, Mikey? How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm actually doing
How's
good.
that toe that you stubbed?
I stubbed my
Wait
whole
a second.
foot.
Wait a second. You missed my sermon because you stubbed your toe.
Yeah, it's my pinky toe. It really hurt. Really bad. No, I was doing some self-care last
He
night.
shot my pinky toe.
Shot my pinky toe. No, I was doing some self-care last night, and life is good right now. And I knew I was going to see you guys tonight, so... but no, I regret that I could not be there because I know that you were teaching, and I did hear good things.
That's why he stayed gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't want to go if he was teaching. You know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing but love, though.
Like old girl at work. You're just scarily honest.
Yeah.
Afraid I'll call you out on
yeah,
stage.
straight up.
I actually got told that today, right in front of him. And that she's like,
Scared of you. You're too honest.
that's what the girl said. She's like, I'm scared of you. I'm like, huh? And I'm ready to walk off. Like, I'm tired of people saying they're scared of me. She goes, you're just so honest. I'm like, oh, well, I got to take that as a compliment, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Be afraid. Be very, very
Be
afraid.
afraid. I will call you out on your BS.
But no, man, life is good right now. I'm having some trouble sleeping, or actually waking up. I've noticed that the last couple of weeks. I started some new medications. Progressed in my medications, and just getting used to them, getting right with it. I just need to work on my routine and my schedule, and everything's good at work. Friendships are good. Familial relationships are good. Gonna play some pickleball after this, so
Yeah, buddy.
gonna do a little sweating. But yeah, man, my soul is content. In many, many different ways, it's content, and yeah, I'm happy to be here.
We're happy to have you.
That's how much he misses Big Perm that he's got to talk like him now. My soul is content.
No, he says my soul is good.
He says my soul is well.
Yeah,
No, that would be mine. It is well with my soul.
yeah, definitely miss him though. But Shane, how you doing, brother? How is your soul?
It is well. Man, this is on fire. I got wrecked again in worship last night.
That's 3 weeks in a row.
What a 15-minute song, dude. How you get wrecked too?
What?
It was wild.
All right,
Hold
so-
on. Yeah, explain.
So, as I was preparing the music, I guess whenever I grabbed the song, I didn't pay any attention to, might need to sneeze. I didn't get wrecked, trust me, not yet. But I didn't pay attention to which version I downloaded. 15-minute.
It was the worship
song.
version of it, where they stop and just start praising God all through the thing. But the words of that song was
Yeah, I mean,
phenomenal.
so it's a great song without a doubt. I don't really like to play it at Celebrate Recovery if you don't want to explain it, and I didn't explain it. I'm like, I'm going to trust that God just has it, right? Because it talks about delivering people. And some people, when they introduce themselves, they like to say, I've been delivered from, and I struggle with. And my struggle with that is when we start using that language, one, what's an addict to me, always an addict. If I put that back in my body, what's going to happen to me?
Right.
Right? And so I don't want to use that word delivered. And plus, if you use the word delivered and somebody else don't get that same, then they're like, well, what about me? Why am I not good enough?
It's more
to be
excluding than it is. Yeah.
delivered.
Yeah.
And so I've had a struggle with that song, even though I've seen people delivered from. I mean, I've seen it with my own eyes. It's they'd never been to a meeting, never been in anything. They just woke up one day, Christ filled them, the Holy Spirit filled them, and they were done. I get it, it could happen. But I'd rather not talk about that from the stage. I want to talk about the work we have to do.
Yep.
God's going to heal us, but we have work we have to do. And so it's been a struggle for me. But yeah, that 15-minute song, it ended up wrecking me. Finally, if I wouldn't have played the long version, I wouldn't have got wrecked. That's what did it, that long version and those things over and over. And I'm like,
Yeah.
What time did you start?
About 7:35.
So was it the only song you played?
no.
I didn't think so. That's why I was like,
4 songs total.
yeah. Well,
We like
3 up front and a feature.
honestly,
That song.
played like
he
6
played-
songs.
He played a song by Danny Goki.
Hope in front of me.
Hope in front of me.
Yeah.
It was I mean, it was perfect.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
Perfect.
I dig it.
See, I don't like planning the worship service. But actually, you know whose idea that was? Aaron.
Really?
Yep.
That was a good pick.
That was Aaron.
And what I like the most about it, okay, so it showed the different situations going on, but it showed them all come together as a community in that vehicle. That's what I enjoyed the most about that.
Yeah, and then at the end when they all put their issues, their character defects
And the fire.
into the fire.
Yep. And they just walked off together. And it was like the whole thing, the car breaks down. Right? There's nothing that they can really do as a group, so they just combine together as a community and go about their business. And a lot of times we get caught up in the moments where it feels like our car is broken down. There's nothing we can do. But we have that community around us to help walk with us as we continue our journey. And I think that's a lot, that was a big thing in that. So,
Yeah, I like them getting rid of their character defects. Because why?
because today we talking about step 6
And 7.
and
seven.
7.
Yeah, we're just gonna. They got kind of go hand in hand. God help me
Yeah.
identify my character defects. Now God remove them.
Absolutely. We finished up step 4 and 5, right?
Yep.
And then now we're going to dive into step 6 and 7, which I love these steps, and I like that you can do them together.
There's an excellent book on 6 and 7.
There is an excellent book on 6 and 7.
Rob.
Are we going to talk about that today, or
We'll talk about that later. Yeah, we'll talk
Yeah.
about that
Bring it
maybe
up
next
later.
week or the week after. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a few copies here. We'll just.
Yeah, for sure. It's
I have
called
it
Drop
on-
the Rock.
I have it on Audible because I don't like to read.
Yeah, he can't read, folks. He doesn't know how.
That's a lie. You could ask my wife. I have read 4 comic books in the last 3 days. No, I'm
Pictures
sorry.
only.
It's
Not
only
comic
pictures.
books.
Pictures only.
Not comic books.
graphic novels.
Graphic novels. Thank you. All right. These words in there.
Oh my gosh.
Bang, pow, boom does not count.
Yeah, I only read books with pictures in them.
And
I love you
So
so
what is a
much.
character defect?
Funny you should ask. Character defects are negative traits or qualities that a person may possess, such as selfishness, dishonesty, arrogance, or impulsiveness. These defects can impact a person's behavior, relationships, and overall well-being. Identifying and addressing character defects is an important aspect of personal growth and self-improvement.
Yeah, it is. And then I wanted to look up just to see what they said. We'll talk that later, I guess. How do you remove a character defect then?
I think identifying is the first part. Being honest with yourself, you're like, okay, I'm not perfect. Where could I grow? Where could I get better? And working with somebody, all of these things, we're supposed to be led through these things, right? By a good sponsor or a sponsor, right?
Yep.
Or a pastor or a therapist or anything like that, So it's speaking about it with someone else instead of just like holding it in. You can identify them, but if you ain't talking about it, it's going to control your mind.
So let me ask, did you find any character defects that weren't on your 4-step when you got to step 6?
I think it's an ongoing thing, yeah. I'm constantly looking for defects. And I'm not like focusing, I'm not like seeking out my defects, but I'm constantly on the lookout.
So once again, did you find any character defects in step 6 that wasn't on your 4-step?
yes,
Yeah, I would say so, yeah.
Good.
mine was laziness. I wasn't writing out my character defects as fast as I
Yeah,
should
straight up.
have.
One of mine was procrastination.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I meant. But laziness sounded better.
I mean,
There you go.
sloth is a real thing, so,
I was just wondering if you found any, because people say you find you already have your list for step 6 out of your step 4. You do, but I bet you there's a character defect. Scripture, search me, O God, right? And so, if you truly ask God to show you those character defects, He's going to point it out to you, and it most likely won't be on your 4-step.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we have a great list already started from the 4-step. Just go to your 5th column of your 4-step, and there you go. You have a bunch of character defects to get started. But
That like opens the door,
yeah,
and then it's like, okay, those are the ones I know I have. Let's dive deeper.
Or what about finding the fact that some of your character defects that you pulled from step 4 were a lot worse than you thought they were once you started giving it 6 to give them up? like pride was a big one for me.
Really?
I really thought I was giving it up in step 4 and that, but when I come to do in step 6, there was some things I didn't want to have to mention, but
Yeah, because you wouldn't really give them up in step 4, though. I mean, step 4 is that list, but
yeah,
the pride ain't going to go until you have God help you remove them, and then how did you get that character defect and forgive it? There's a lot of work still to get done before that goes bye-bye.
yeah, it's true.
Is it gone yet? I was just
That
wondering,
wasn't a or an That was a
how good do you look today, Derek?
I'm all right.
He's so pretty.
And hey, man, pride is an issue. I ain't gonna lie, but I do, I don't know if it's so much pride. No, it's pride. Either way I look at it, I can't even
Yeah,
say
right,
that. I can't even justify it or deny it.
You could be confident or prideful.
Well, I'd like to be more confident than prideful, but my thing is I'm too prideful in my confidence.
I agree. I see that in you.
You cut deep. Just
I see in you
You see
that
me?
pridefulness.
Yeah. I'm working on it. I really am.
I'm just messing with you.
it's a struggle every
No,
day.
I'm not. I'm being dead up honest.
Well, I know you are.
I know I got an issue I'm still working on.
Yeah.
So what was the big character defect for you? The one that God showed you and
My true insecurities. There was a lot of things I was insecure about that I was always afraid to admit to because, you show something like that, the enemy gonna see it, he gonna take advantage of it, boy. We got to walk it off.
Weakness. Weakness for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mine was, I would say definitely it was pride or ego. I've always struggled with that. I was raised like if you're going to do something, be the best at it, which is not a bad way, right? It's just, even when I'm not great at something, I always put myself up against people that are better, and I'm like, I could do that. You know what I mean? So it's constantly humbling myself and be like, okay, bro, just take a step back, and it's hard. Like, it really is, because me being the Mr. Fix-It, I could take on everything. I got it. Let's do this. Give me everything, right? But we're working with a guy right now who is going through a lot of the same things I was just about 10, 11, 12 months ago. And it's, it's being able to say, not my circus, not my monkeys. I can only do what I can, when I can, while I can. I don't need to take on every single crisis. Your crisis is not my crisis. And that's what I always kind of struggle with is, because I want to help as many people as I can. But a lot of times it's like, y'all need to learn to help yourselves too.
Without a doubt. Your emergency is not my emergency, is just what I like to tell people.
Straight up. Yeah.
And mine was false pride.
Yeah.
And that was a big one. But that was a blind spot for me for a long time until I wanted to get honest with myself.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's amazing. And you got to have strong people around you that are not afraid to tell you the way it is.
Straight up.
And then you got to have a true relationship with Jesus so that way you could say, search me, and be willing to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll go back into it, man. Get that book, Blind Spots.
Blind spots?
Blind Spots. Phenomenal book. It will help you see things and be able to recognize things in you that are wrong that you don't see because it's in your blind spot. That really helped with the character defects as well. So not only Drop the Rock, but blind spots.
Right. I actually looked that up on Audible, and it ended up being that movie with Vin Diesel, so I never actually got the real blind spot book that you're talking about.
Bloodshot?
Really?
You mean Bloodshot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It showed up that, and I'm like, no, that's not what I'm looking for.
That's not a self-help book.
Not really a self-help book, but I mean, it's a great book.
Well, anything that betters you, and it could just be self-reflection. I consider that self-help. So, to get rid of character defects, it is important to first identify and acknowledge them. Here are some steps that can help in addressing and overcoming character defects. Shall I go on?
Yeah.
I
Go
think
ahead,
I
the first
will.
one.
Number 1, self-awareness. Reflect on your behavior and identify any negative traits or patterns that may be considered character defects.
So how do you see traits? How do you see patterns?
Look at your habits.
But what's an easy way to do it?
Go back to step 4 and read that roadmap that you just wrote out.
There's part of it. What
Journal.
did you just walk? There you go.
Journaling. And what's the way of journaling? With a tactile turn pen.
Tactile turn pen. Boom.
The only way to do it. But I mean, think about it. Journaling is the best way to see a habit.
If you can't measure it, it doesn't exist.
Right.
So you have to measure it.
And the only way you're going to end up doing it is, I mean, honestly, through journaling.
Yeah.
We're getting close to putting out our journal, matter of fact. So I'm pretty excited.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that mean I'm going to have to buy a new journal again?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I'd prefer you to buy ours than anybody else's.
I guess.
And it's as we were talking through it, and we were talking about the little pieces, and we got the talk about it or write about it section, right? And they're like, well, let's put a journal prompt on each of these. I'm like, you're going to put a journal prompt there that only 1 in 100 are going to, it's going to really trigger them to write.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to put as many as we want to come up with at the very beginning of the book and have a list of them. Journal prompts that'll help you get started throughout. So whatever could get your juices flowing to write, you have those there. And so we'll have something for everybody that way.
Yeah. I dig it.
So I'm pretty stoked.
Yeah. And then that just builds your ability to journal effectively.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, for sure.
Acceptance. Acknowledge
I don't want to.
Acknowledge and accept that you have character defects. Avoid denial or justification of these traits. Ooh, justification.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's funny.
That's a bad word. We shouldn't use the J word on the podcast.
Unless it's only 5 letters. But justification or, what's the other word? Rationalization. I can rationalize, I can justify anything, especially when I was using.
Oh, yeah.
And I say that all the time to people I'm trying to help. I could justify going to drink right now. I could, if I really wanted to. But that's also me lying to myself. And lying to everybody around me, you know?
Mm-hmm.
When I'm working on this program, stop justifying it and accept the fact that you got a problem. You got some character defects.
Yeah.
Maybe you should journal about them, and maybe you should tell somebody.
It's really, we bring up that term justification, man. Working with the people that we work with and stuff, and just listening to them try to justify the situation.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, come on, man. You're barking up the wrong tree because it's all stuff I've said.
That's not true. Yeah.
Because I had an individual, and they were just like, and, let me guess, you've heard all this stuff before. No, I've said all this stuff before, so I know exactly what you're trying to do here.
Right.
And he didn't like that too much, but you know what? That's why they scared of me, because I'm brutally honest.
Never change, Pony Boy.
Most of them probably need to be justified.
They need to be justified?
Me made right with God. They probably need to be
that's
justified.
justification. That's one thing. Well, I'm talking about
Yeah.
justifying the bad situations like we're talking about.
Well, I understand what you're talking about. I said most of them probably need to be justified.
Yeah, but they won't let me say that in work.
No. What they don't know don't hurt them. I'm just joking.
The last time I tried that, the person I said it to ran and told. So
And then you got an award.
Yeah, and then you got an
he
award.
does
No big deal.
something.
So can you say it or can you not? Because last time you got an award.
I did. And it even came out and said that my faith was a big thing. And so,
Right. So
yeah.
Say what you need to say.
most of your insurance companies cover spiritual counseling now.
You hear that, guys?
No. You hear that?
It's real. So
Okay.
yeah.
I need a job spiritual counseling.
I don't think a lot of places mind as much as you think to talk about Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, when I'm asked, I roll up the sleeves and I'm ready to go. Thanks for asking. Here we go. You know?
right.
That's why you need to wear more Celebrate Recovery shirts.
Yeah.
You get some Jesus shirts and wear them in there, then people ask, like get some crazy sayings on them, and then they ask what it is. Well, thank you for asking. That's why I always wore Celebrate Recovery shirts when I worked at Preferred. Because then all the kids would ask, and I'd get to talk about Jesus the whole day. Even if they didn't ask, I'd still talk because they just didn't care.
What'd you say? Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
Yeah. But I know I do love it when they ask me, though.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah. 3, seek feedback. Ask for feedback from trusted friends. I can't stress that enough. Trusted friends, family members, or a therapist to gain insight into your character defects.
Seek feedback and take it.
How many people don't like to listen to their therapist, though?
Well, the thing is, that's what it is. It's not just seeking it. It's being willing to take it and change.
You have to receive the feedback.
Yeah.
So we have to give the feedback in truth and love.
Always.
But we have to receive it. And the problem is we ask and then we're not ready to receive it. Because they say, well, here, let me, you got a pen and paper? You can start writing and let me give you the list.
Yeah, right.
And so we get kind of mad about that.
Well, no one wants to be confronted.
No.
No one wants to be, what's the word?
Well, we don't want our inventory taken no matter what.
No, yeah, right. Oh man,
we're gonna sit the next 20 minutes waiting for him to think of a word.
No, go on, because it's what is it, meandered? We don't want to be like alone on an island, right? We don't want to have everything coming at us, even though we probably know that what we're doing is not good.
So here we're going to get book referrals. Thanks for the feedback, which we talked about a couple
Love
times.
that book.
And
Yep.
Blind Spots.
Blind
2
Spots.
books that were 3 books from this podcast alone that you could pick up. Drop the Rock, Thanks for the Feedback, and Blind Spots.
Yep,
All help with character defects.
100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of the things I've been having a lot of my people I've been working with do is when we're doing family sessions, I ask them, are you ready for your family to call you out on your BS when things, these character defects start coming back? And a lot of them want to be like, yeah. So, well, then ask them. For them to come out and say, hey, will you guys hold me accountable when I come and do this? That's the way I see them giving permission, because they wouldn't be asking if they weren't giving them the right to do so.
Yeah. But you got to share with them too. So we always have the families, hey, you write up what you see, and then we have the client write up what they do to hide these things and that. And so then both parties are telling, and we write them all down and say, okay, when you see these, you confront.
Yeah.
You don't confront when you see 1, but when you see 2, there's a red flag, right? Now let's have a quick conversation. I'm seeing this. Help me understand. But you don't accuse.
Yeah.
I'm seeing this. Help me understand.
Actions become habits very quickly.
Really quick, because they used to be our big habits.
Yeah.
So they come back even quicker.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, like you never missed a beat. Just roll right back into whatever it was you was doing.
It's so crazy. It's like riding a bike, man. You just fall in, you're like, oh.
So set goals. I think that's I guess it could help with procrastination, especially on a character defect, but setting goals helps with everything. As we start achieving them, we start getting more confident. We get to see things happening positive in our lives. That's why we start small, work our way up.
Yeah. I think people get, you get into more of a routine to where goal setting becomes a little bit more normal, to where you can connect your goals from, excuse me. So when I was seeing a therapist when I was younger, he's like, I want to connect the person from last night to the person today. Because last night I'm highly motivated. I'm like, yeah, tomorrow I'm going to do this. And it gets to the time. And it's like, I ain't going to do that. I got better things to do. So getting into that new routine, it's like, no, it's like, okay, now I can set attainable goals.
Yes.
They don't have to be like grandeur or anything like that, right?
But you can have that.
Well, you can have that, but these smaller goals are always working up to that.
Yep. And so you have that way out there.
Yep.
Lead and lag goals work well. They can look that up. SMART goals, of course, a great way to do it. But when you first get into recovery and just working 6, 7 SMART goals,
yeah,
it's a way to do it.
I like how it says one goal at a time too.
Yes.
Don't take your time. Work on one. Build mastery of it.
Everybody that gets out wants to change 10 things. Like whenever they're
10?
leaving treatment.
I was gonna say, before they
10,
even get
20,
out.
30, 40, 50,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
I would just go visit people in the behavioral health unit, and they would all have a list of things. I'm going to do this when I get out. And I'm like, no, one.
Yeah.
If you have to be really hardcore, 2. Just pick 2 of those things, and we'll work on them when you get out. The rest of them, wait. And then once we do these, then we'll start tackling this list one at a time.
Yes.
Because otherwise, when we get out, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to get overwhelmed. We're never going to do one of them, and we're just going to go back to the same old, same old. So, Yeah,
Going
keep
back
that
to
list
that
small.
coping mechanism we always know, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, it's warm and fuzzy.
Right.
It feels so good.
So practice self-reflection. Regularly reflect on your actions and behaviors to identify instances where your character defects may have influenced your decisions.
Mm.
No.
No,
No.
I just want everybody to know there are no pictures on this. He actually did read that.
Man, how do you do that?
Call back. I think he memorized it as a
See, here we go once again, taking somebody's inventory. Don't judge me, man.
Don't judge me.
So how well do you
Oh my God.
guys practice this? The self-reflection. So reflect on your actions, your behaviors. What is that?
Try to nightly.
I was going to say, just
Journal
about
it.
every day.
Journal it. You know, you can do a 10-step inventory, 10-step daily inventory. You know, were my actions, were they self-seeking? Did I hurt anybody? Were they out of spite? Or, you know, you could even like, were they out of lust? Were they out of pride? What were they, you know, what were these actions coming from? Because that way, the more you identify, the more you can process, the more you process, the more you can change.
What was my heart? What was my motive?
Right.
Know your why.
That was we had that. I used that today in one of my groups. I had a self-awareness group.
Yeah.
And we started talking about character defects and stuff, and we got to selflessness. And we were on that for 45 minutes.
Did you ask Jeremy's question? Is there any act that is truly selfless?
No,
Yes, there is.
actually,
There's lots.
actually, somebody else in the group, one of the members, was actually interested in knowing that.
Why is
They
that
asked
such
the-
a big? I don't get it. Like it's been asked twice on this podcast. All these people, if you can't do something that's selfless, you're in a whole lot of trouble.
Right.
There's a lot of things that we could. Me holding the door open for somebody is selfless because I don't get anything out of it.
Well, I called it self-gratitude. I mean, sometimes it feels good that we're able, that we can do that for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's personal. That's not like, so I'm not taking a picture as I do it on my phone talking about, hey, look at me, Instagram.
Hey, look at the mic when you're. There you go. Now
Yeah.
we'll be able to hear
So,
you.
camera up in the air, taking pictures and stuff, right? Like, look at me, Instagram.
Right.
Yeah, no.
He had his head turned, man. We couldn't hear anything.
Don't look at me, Instagram.
But there's a
Me
lot
and Derek
of
are going to
selfless-
fight after this.
There's a lot of selfless acts.
Yes.
Even though we may get something out of it, that's not why we do it.
Right.
Yeah. I talked about that being of service today. You know, we were doing the accepts activity, and it was contribute. You know, the more we are in service of others, and I told him, like, this is why I try to do the things that I do, is the more I'm in service of others, the less I think about myself. And the better I feel about myself. It's not because, and I'm not doing it to feel good about me.
No.
It's just by simply doing the act, my self esteem, right? My mental health, it just gets better.
Your joy goes up.
100%, 110.
But we don't do it for that.
Yeah.
But that's just a benefit that we happen to get. Now, if you start thinking ahead of time, well, I'm going to do this because I'm going to feel better afterwards.
Right.
Well, then that's not selfless.
That's prideful.
Yeah, because you're never going to get to that point you wanted to feel.
right. Because you won't
Yeah.
get the same outcome.
Right.
But when you're selfless with it, that's the promises that we get. So, yeah, I mean, I never joined H&I and Narcotics Anonymous because I was going to get something out of it. I did it because that's what you did.
Right.
I mean, you
Yeah.
join a committee, you go and you serve. So,
That's what I talked about. I was like, you know, pouring coffee at meetings, cleaning out ashtrays. I know there's not smoking in most meetings anymore, but, you know, doing the little things,
yeah, setting up chairs, taking down chairs, you name it.
being of service.
Come to Celebrate Recovery. You could help us move 100 and whatever chairs off the stage. And
We will teach you how to serve, no problem.
yeah, you'll move all the chairs out. We'll get rid of a daycare,
Yep.
set up a service, and set up a daycare. Woof.
Set up a dining hall and everything. We rock.
It is pretty awesome. Develop new habits. Replace negative behaviors with positive ones. Practice mindfulness, empathy, and self-control to overcome character defects.
How long does it take to form a new habit?
28 days.
What do they say? You got to do something like 3,000 times before it becomes habit forming? Or before it becomes muscle memory or something like
Somewhere between 21 to, actually, it could take more than 365 days. But 21 plus, I mean, days we 90 meetings in 90 days. Why? It forms a new habit.
Right.
Yep. Right.
So it takes a
And
while.
it builds community too.
Yeah, but it takes a while to build a new habit, a good habit. Bad habits don't take that long to build. That's the shorter of them, 21 days.
That's what we're trying to run. We're not run from, bro. That's what we're trying to eliminate is those bad habits.
Yes.
You know,
So it's going to take a while for this to actually truly become a habit for you to keep doing it.
Yep.
It'll get better and it'll happen, but when you're changing an old behavior into a new behavior, it takes a while.
Yep.
It's going to take you a long time.
I say thoughts become words.
Bless you.
Thoughts become words. Words become actions. Actions become habits. Habits become character. Character becomes destiny.
Just not defects.
Yeah. So
Assets.
yeah, and what we're trying to do is just change our mindset from all that negative to all that positive. The more positive you think, the more positive you will speak, the more positive you will act.
Do I see the good in everything bad, or do I see the bad in everything that's good?
Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah.
Good question.
Depends on the day.
Depends on the day.
That's a stumper.
But I mean, it's true. I mean, it's not pessimistic.
No, I think
It's-
you can learn a lesson from anything.
It's truly, am I going to find the bad in all this good, or am I going to find the good in all that bad?
Whatever you seek.
Yeah. And it depends on the day. Minute, hour, whatever it may be, second.
Yeah.
Moment.
Depends where my mindset is. And that depends on my character defects and assets. What am I going to go towards? What's a character asset, though?
So it's off the beam, on the beam. All right.
Yep.
So defects: dishonest, fear, frightened, inconsiderate. Assets: honesty, faith, courage, considerate.
I like that.
Pride, humility, greedy, giving, anger, calm.
Here we go. He's gonna do the opposite.
So,
What I do?
I said we're going to go the opposite. Some of them you don't really find a character asset to that defect,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
which is weird. But
So it says character assets are strengths that can contribute to your personal growth and overall well-being.
so it could help with my mental health,
Yeah.
Overall well-being. I
my
think
gut
that-
health.
Yeah. I think that means
Overall.
macro. Overall.
It's amazing how doing something like that could really help you.
Like I said, it goes back to that, self-gratification. I mean, you get that feeling of that good feeling that you feel that you do, which we said at least like better self-esteem. And the more self-esteem you do, the more I feel as your self-esteem builds, so does your character assets. And your cup starts overflowing and actually starts pouring out on the others. So you're actually getting more done just from actually,
Your character builds.
yes.
Leave off the assets even. You get better character.
Better character.
Yeah.
I mean,
Except for when people are scared of you for being honest.
Well, stop being so honest, dude.
everybody says they like honesty,
Until they get hit with it.
but not everybody likes to be hit between the eyes with honesty.
Right.
If you're going to be brutally honest, are you honest? Is it honest in love, like truth and love, or is it just truth?
No, it's truth and love. I wouldn't tell them if I didn't care.
It's more deliverance. Deliverance. It's more delivery,
Ding-a-ding-ding-ding.
right? Delivery. So how do you deliver it? Are you a jerk,
No.
or do you show love when you do it?
I mean, I don't grab them up and hug them, but I'm sure I'm loving. And I talk with them when I share that. I guess my honesty is that I don't play the justification, the BS that they try to throw at me. Like, dude, no, you're talking to the wrong person. If
You ain't catching that, are you?
no,
You throwing, I ain't catching.
that's it. No, and that's the bad part that they're afraid of because they hoping they can get over on somebody. I'm just one they're not going to be able to do it, and
I
it's
don't
all in
blame you.
love, or I wouldn't do it.
How about seek support? I mean, you're already going to have that hopefully in a sponsor or a therapist or somebody. If you're working recovery, have a sponsor though. My goodness, please.
Yeah, get a sponsor.
I mean, you're not going to get past the fourth step without one. So
You might not even get to the fourth step without one.
yeah, no, you're not. It's hard to go anywhere without a sponsor.
I mean, for real. Like to truly understand and get to that point, You need someone to walk you through it.
And the last one, practice patience
Oh, yeah.
And persistence.
and persistence. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for picking that up, because I only said practice patience. The persistence is the part of it,
100%.
because that's going to take a while to form a new habit.
Absolutely. You're going to get knocked down. Get up.
And get up again.
As it says,
Yeah.
deep-rooted character defects take time and effort to replace.
Could be months, could be years. And you're not going to replace it fully during the 6th and 7th step.
No.
A lot of them.
It is a work in progress.
And the reason why is because we have to make it to the 8th and 9th. We have to make it to the 9th step, because a lot of these character defects came from somewhere that we're going to have to forgive. And once we forgive them, then that starts. And as we start forgiving each of these instances where that character defect kept growing and growing and growing and manifesting. So it started back here, but it formed all the way through our lives. And unless we forgive those different instances, that character defect isn't going anywhere. So as we make it to the 9th step, then those go away a little bit more. So how about this? In closing, Mike, character defects, what do you got?
In handling character defects, be gentle with yourself. Give yourself a little bit of grace. You're not the only one that's ever exhibited these things, and you're not going to be the only one to ever exhibit them again.
Not the first, not the last.
Not the first, not the last. The more we realize and the more we talk about these things, the easier they are to get rid of. If I talk about my defects, they don't have any power over me. If I make them tangible, I can process them, I can learn from them, and I don't have to do them anymore. And I do have a scripture.
What do you got?
Deuteronomy 31:6. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them. For the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you.
Amen.
James 1:4, but let patience have its perfect work, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking nothing.
Is that what you got in closing? Nothing else? No
That's-
words of wisdom? That's the only word that we need is
That's
God's
all.
word.
That's it. That's all the
the
wisdom
word.
we need right there. Look, giving up your character defects, replace them with character assets. Like it says, it's all about character. It builds your character, and when you start getting into the later steps, as we get into more of the servitude and that, having that good character as you're bringing forth, it makes serving that much easier. I believe. Because you have that character to do so now, the assets of serving, going forward and doing things that God's called us to do.
Look for your assets as well as your defects then.
Yes. So do a positive in step 4, back to last week's episode, so that you can get the character assets that you can take to help replace the character defects, without a doubt.
Because you'll need that. But, I mean, if you start getting down on yourself because all you have is this big, long list of negative, then do some positives. It'll be okay.
Mm-hmm.
But
2 positives for every negative.
be willing to receive feedback.
Yeah.
I mean, be willing to receive it. It's going to hurt. It's going to suck. But I tell you, it will make you a better person in the long run.
Right.
So I'll leave you with this. Psalm 139, 23 and 24. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my anxieties, and see if there is any wicked way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting.
Amen.
If we really want to hear it, God will point it out to us. We got to be willing to do something about it. Now with that, from everybody here at the Wake and Sober Podcast,
For everybody here at the Awake and Sober Podcast, again, guys, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. We're on all podcast platforms. If you see us on social media, share it. Get us out.
yeah, don't forget to share it.
We appreciate that. And
Hey,
also, thank you to
comments.
Tactile Turn.
Yes.
Comments,
Questions.
please.
We want to know what you guys are thinking. We want to do what we do and work with you guys.
So
you have questions, bring them. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Email them.
Email them. Yes.
Email them, because the comments sometimes are hard to, I mean, we have to go to all the different places. But if they go to either awakensober.org and they could leave us a message on there, or they could email us at info@awakensober.org. We could get them and we could respond back to them, and that would help us a lot.
I mean, my big goal in this podcast is to have a podcast of nothing but us answering questions that you, as our viewers and listeners, have sent us.
No wonder people think you're scary.
Yeah.
That's it.
I was just joking.
Hey,
No,
We love you guys. God bless, and we will see you next week.
Peace.
Peace.
Bye.